This is chapter number 12, electricity. So we are taking important questions on electricity. What is SI unit of resistivity? Ohm meter. Ohm meter is the SI unit of resistivity. Draw a closed circuit diagram consisting of 0.5 meter long nichrome wire XY, an ammeter, a voltmeter, 4 cells of 1.5 volt each and a plug key. So this is the diagram. This is your 0.5 meter XY long nichrome wire. Then we have an ammeter here. Then we have a voltmeter here. Voltmeter is always connected in the parallel of the wire or anything which is given. Then we have 4 cells. So here we have 4 cell, 1.5 into 4, that is around, it goes up to 6 volt. Then we have a plug key. This is how you are going to draw. Now following graph was plotted between V and I, voltage and current. And this is from 0, current is from 0 to 0.6, and like this the differences are 0.1. So that is 0, 0.1 and 0.2 like this. This is 0.3 like this. And here we have 0.5, 1, 1.5 like this. So the interval is 0.5. Now what would be the value of VI ratios when the potential difference is 0.8, 1.2 and 1.6? And what conclusion do you draw from these? So what you have to do here is, for the voltage value 0.8, say this voltage value is 0.8. So this is 0.5, you can say this is 6, 6, 7, 8. So for 0.8 you have to find out what is the value of the current I. Okay. So for from the graph, the potential difference is, this is 1.6 volt and this is 1.6 volt. Let us start with this. Okay. What is 1.6 volt? When it is 1.6 volt, you see, then the current is 0.6. So V by I, that is V is 1.6 and I is 0.6. So 2.67 is the, we know V equal to Ri. R is the resistance. So we get R by V by I. So V by I here is 2.67 ohm. So this ratio for all potential difference, you take 0.8 or 1.2. Why we have taken this? Because there is a point given. See, there is a proper point given. If we would have taken 0.8 or 1.1 or 1.2, then the thing is that it may happen that we may find out I some approximately, but this point is given. So for 1.6 it is absolutely given as 0.6. Okay, so that is how we can find out the resistance as 2.67, and you will know by Ohm's law that it will always remain for each and every entry V by I. So that is how we conclude that for any this given temperature, the resistance of wire is constant, which is equal to 2.67 ohm. Study the following electrical circuit and find the current in the circuit and then the potential difference across 10 ohm resistor. So this is 10 ohm, this is 20 ohm, this is 3 volt, and here we have a key. So 10 ohm and 20 ohm, these are connected in series. See, this is in series. So the equivalent resistance is this 10 plus 20, that is R equal to R1 plus R2. 10 plus 20, that is 30. Now what is the current flowing in the circuit? See, the combined resistance we found to be 30 ohm. Now the voltage is 3 volt. What is the current I equal to V by R? So this is 3 by 30, that is 1 by 10, this is 0.1 ampere. And the potential difference which is across this 10 ohm will be what? It will be V equal to IR. So what is the current? 0.1. And what is the resistance? That is 10 ohm. So 1 by 10 into 10 is simply 1 volt. Find the current drawn from the battery by the network of 4 resistors, which is shown here. So here we have 10, 10, 10, 10. So this 10, 10 and 10, can you see there is a formation here? So now the equivalent resistance is something like this. these three are in series, 1, 2 and 3 are in series, and the resultant is in parallel with this one. So R1 plus R2 plus R3, this is 10 plus 10 plus 10, that is 30, and this combined is in parallel with this 10. So 1 by 10 plus 1 by combined of these three. So we get 1 by 10 plus 1 by 30, which becomes, because this is 1 by R, so we have to take the reciprocal, this becomes 7.5 ohm. Now what is the current drawn from the battery? This is 3 volt, this is voltage, and this is the resistance. So what is the I? I equal to V by R. So it comes out to be 3 by 7.5, which is actually 0.4 ampere. What is meant by electric current? Name and define its SI unit. In a conductor, electrons are flowing from B to A. What is the direction of conventional current? You have to give justification for your answer. A steady current of 1 ampere flows through a conductor. Calculate the number of electrons that flows through any section of the conductor in 1 second. The charge of the electron is also given 1.6 into 10 to the power 19 coulomb. So how we go about it? First of all, the electric current. The electric current is what? I. I is rate of this charge. So Q by T. Rate means with division of T. So Q by T, electric current, the amount of charge Q flowing through a particular area of cross section in unit time T is called the electric current. So electric current I is equal to Q by T. The SI unit of electric current is ampere, and 1 ampere is what current? The 1 ampere of current is that current which flow when 1 coulomb of electric charge flow through a particular area of cross section of conductor in 1 second. So 1 by 1 is 1, so I become 1. This is how the definition goes. So 1 ampere is nothing but 1 coulomb per second. And then the other part is the direction of conventional current is, say, A to B. That is opposite to the direction of flow of current. Always the electron flows like this, and current, because it is opposite to the direction of the flow of current. So in a metal, the flow of electron carrying negative charge constitutes the current. Basically, the current is because of electrons only. So direction of flow of electron gives the direction of electric current by convention, right? So the direction of flow of positive charge is taken as the direction of the conventional current. I hope you got the idea. The direction of flow of electron gives the direction of electronic current by convention, but the direction of flow of positive charge is taken as the direction of conventional current. And for this part, you know, Q equal to N into E, number of electrons into charge of electron. So for 1 coulomb, N is what? This is 1 coulomb. 1 coulomb, this is 1 coulomb. So we divide it by the charge. So we get number of electrons. So N will be equal to Q by E. Q is 1 coulomb, E is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, and which gives 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 electrons. What is meant by the electrical resistivity of a material? Derive its SI unit. Describe an experiment to study the factor on which the resistance of a conducting wire depends. So mathematically, this resistivity of a conducting material is R equal to rho L upon A. This is how it is, the formula is. So what is the rho? Rho is R A by L. Rho becomes R into A by L. So this R is resistance, A is the area of cross section, L is the length. So this is how the formation is. Here if this, you say L is equal to 1 meter, area is 1 meter square, then resistivity becomes equal to the resistance. So the resistivity of a material is defined as the resistance offered by a metallic wire which is having a unit length, that is one unit length, and unit area of cross section. So area is also 1 meter square. So since the unit length and unit area of cross section forms a cube, the specific resistance or resistivity we can define as the resistance offered by a cube of material of side 1 meter when current flows perpendicularly through the opposite faces. So in SI system, the unit can be given like this: rho equal to the unit of R, see, unit of R, unit of area of cross section, and unit of length of conductor. So this is ohm, this is meter square, and this one is meter. So it becomes meter cancels out. So ohm meter remains. Now there is an experiment. We need to describe an experiment also. In order to study the factors on which the resistance of conducting wire depends, there are certain apparatus we need to have: a cell, an ammeter, nichrome wires or different length, but same area of cross section, that is thickness has to be same. And nichrome wires of same length but different thickness. Copper and iron wire of same length and same thickness as that of any nichrome wire. So now what we have to do here is, the procedure is, we need to connect this cell, an ammeter, and the plug key in series with nichrome wire of length T. Okay, so let us say this is number 1 in the, which is gap between X and Y. Now we need to close the key. We need to close the key and we need to note the reading of ammeter. So it measures the current, say I1 through the nichrome wire, which is marked 1. So let us say I1 is going like this. Now we replace the marked wire, this marked 1, with another nichrome wire having the same area of cross section, that is thickness, but double the length, that is 2L. Previously it was L, now it is 2L. So see, this is L, this is, we are making it twice. And we need to know the ammeter reading, which is showing us now, previously it was I1, now we will have I2. I2 as the reading after closing the key. Now we replace the marked 2 wire now with the third wire, which is this one, which has the same length but it is thicker than the marked 1 and 2 nichrome. This one and this one were having same thickness. This is having a higher thickness than the previous one. Again we note I3 through this wire. Now we unplug the key, we remove mark 3, this one 3-1 nichrome wire from the gap XY. Now we'll connect the copper wire marked 4, which is this one, having same length and same area of cross section as that of nichrome wire marked 1, this one. We plug the key again and note the ammeter reading. So it measures I4, and we repeat the experiment with iron wire and measure the current, which is this one, I5. So what we observe here is, current I is actually half of I1, that is this I2 is 1/2 of I1. This I2 is half of I1. The current I3 increases when the thicker wire of same length and of same material is used, that is nichrome is used. And also current I4 and I5 is different for copper and iron wire. The conclusion we draw here is, different wires drew different amount of current from the same cell. And also first observation indicates that the resistance of conductor increases with increase in length. So resistance is directly proportional to the length. And we have second observation which shows that thicker the wire, they have lesser resistance. So resistance is inversely proportional to the area of the cross section of the wire. And the next observation shows the resistance of a conductor depends on the nature of material. What is the nature of material? Nichrome we used here, and sometimes we used copper and sometimes we used iron. Write 2 points of difference between electrical energy and electric power. So out of 60 watt and 40 watt lamp, this is B. Which one has higher electrical resistance when in use? And the third is, what is the commercial unit of electrical energy converted into joules? So first we'll go with the difference between electrical energy and electric power. First, electrical energy, the work done or energy supplied by the source in maintaining the flow of electric current is called electrical energy. So it appears in the form of heat. So H equal to V into I into T. We can change it, we can put this, we can vary it. So I can be written as V by R, so it becomes V square by R. Then again we can replace V equal to IR, so it becomes I square RT, like this. So the electric power on the other hand, this is the rate. So time rate at which the electrical energy is consumed or dissipated by an electric device is called the electrical power, and which is given by power equal to VI. Again we can replace I by V by R, so V square by R, and we can replace V by IR, so I square R square, it becomes I square R. Then electrical energy, it is equal to the product of power and time. So power into time multiplied by time is electrical energy, and electric power, it is equal to the rate of doing work. So energy divided by time. So rate of doing work by an energy source is the power. The SI unit of this electric energy is joule, Joule. 1 joule is 1 watt. See, this is watt and this is second. So watt second. The SI unit is watt for electric power. 1 watt is 1 joule per second. This is energy, joule, and this is second, joule per second. For the second part, power is inversely proportional to resistance. That is, the less the power of electrical device, higher is the electrical resistance. So you can easily find out that which one will be 60 watt or 40 watt lamp, which one has higher resistance. So 1 by 40 will give you higher value. Okay. Then commercial unit of electrical energy, convert it into joule. So commercial unit of electrical energy is kilowatt hour, and 1 kilowatt hour is, this kilo is 1000 watt hour, watt is joule per second, hour is 3600 seconds, joule per second, second gets cancelled. This is 1000 into 3600, which gives you 3610100. This is 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. State Ohm's law. Write the necessary condition for its validity. How is this law verified experimentally? What will be the nature of graph between PD, potential difference, and the current for a conductor? And name the physical quantity that can be obtained from this graph. So here, Ohm's law. First of all, simply V is directly proportional to I. That is, when the physical condition like the temperature, etc. remains same, the current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional. Current is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the end of the conductor. Or you can say V is directly proportional to I. Or V, when we remove the proportionality sign, we get a constant, and this constant is nothing but the resistance R. R is called the V by I is constant, that is V equal to IR. We take constant as R, V equal to IR. R is the constant of proportionality, and this is called the resistance of the wire. What is the necessary condition for validity of Ohm's law? Is that the physical condition, like the as we said, the physical condition should be same, such as temperature of the conductor remains the same. For the next part, let us see what will be the nature of graph. So we need to complete the circuit by connecting one cell in the gap XY here. We need to plug the key, and we need to note the reading in the ammeter for the current I, and the voltmeter, this one, for the potential difference V across the nichrome wire. And we will repeat these steps using the 2 cells now, and then 3 cells, right? So we can tabulate the reading like this: number of cells in gap, what is the voltmeter reading, ammeter reading, and then we can see the volt ampere, and we can find out the ratio of the V and I. V by this, V is this, so we can take V by I here. V by I we can find every time, and we see that every time it is going to come as constant resistance, and we can plot the graph between the V and I. We can take V as potential difference on the y-axis and current on x-axis. So the observation would be something like this: the voltmeter and the ammeter reading increase as we increase the number of cells from 1, 2, 3 like this, as the cell we increase in series. And same value of V by I, this is R, is obtained in each case. As I said, it is equal to the resistance. So VI graph is a straight line. Always this is V, this is I. The graph has a straight line. It is always a straight line passing through the origin of the graph, and the physical condition needs to be same. So the conclusion we draw here is the straight line nature of graph. It shows that the current is proportional to the potential difference. Hence we can verify the Ohm's law. And the slope, that is the angle here, of VI graph gives the value of resistance of the conductor at a given temperature. Name a device that helps to maintain a potential difference across a conductor. So it is cell or a battery. This is the device. Define 1 volt. Express it in the terms of SI unit of work and charge. Calculate the amount of energy consumed in carrying a charge of 1 coulomb through a battery of 3 volt. So when 1 joule of work is done in carrying 1 coulomb of charge from infinity, see infinity, to a point in the electric field, then the potential at that point is 1 volt. The potential difference between 2 points V is given by W by Q. Okay, this W is simply Q into V. Q is here 1 coulomb and voltage is 3. So this is the relationship, and by this we can find out the energy. So energy is simply Q into V, 1 into 3, which is 3 joule. This VI graph for 2 wires A and B, this is first wire, this is second wire, are shown in the figure. If both wires are of same length and same thickness, which of the two is made up of metal which is having higher resistivity? You have to give justification for your answer. We know that V and divided by I is always constant as resistance. So there is a slope, this is a slope and this is a slope, right? Which one is having a greater slope? See, we have to find out the resistivity, and resistivity is directly proportional to resistance. So greater the slope of VI graph, greater will be the resistance of given metallic wire. So in this graph you see this A is having a greater slope than B. So wire A has a greater resistance. And for the wire of same length and same thickness, the resistance depends on the nature of material of the wire. So we see the second part justification. So R1, let us take R1 equal to rho 1 L by A. R2 is rho L by A. You can take it as rho 2. Now when we divide this equation by this equation, we get R1 by R2 equal to rho 1 by rho 2. So this shows that R is directly proportional to rho. So the wire A is made up of material having a higher resistivity. Draw a labeled circuit diagram showing 3 resistors R1, R2, R3 connected in series with a battery. There has to be a rheostat, a plug key and an ammeter using standard circuit symbol, and use this circuit to show that the same current flows through every part of this circuit. And you have to list 2 precautions you would observe while performing the experiment. So here is the scenario. First of all, this is R1, R2, R3. So this is A, this is B, R1 is between them, then B and then C and D, it is R2, and E and F, it is R3. Now we have ammeter, this is a key, then it is connected to a rheostat. So rheostat is like this. This is the sign. So the rheostat is there, and then the battery is there, E. And for the second part, the aim we have in our hand is that same current flows through every part of the above circuit, because these are in series. So what is the procedure? We connect the ammeter as we saw in the figure, A1 between B and C, A2 between D and E. So we can connect the ammeter between this also. So we can have, in order to compute the current, we adjust the sliding contact of the rheostat initially for a small current, and we note all the ammeter readings. And these readings give us the current flowing through the resistances R1, R2 and R3. The current in the circuit is now decreased by changing the position of the sliding contact, which is on the rheostat J, and we note all the ammeter readings each time. The conclusion we draw is the same reading for all ammeter in each observation. We conclude that same current flows through every part of the circuit. What are the precautions? All the connections should be tight and properly connected as per the circuit diagram as we just saw, and the positive terminal of the ammeter and voltmeter must be connected to the positive terminal of the battery or battery eliminator. Two wires A and B of equal length have equal resistances. So if the resistivity of A is more than that of B, which wire is thicker and why? For the electric circuit given below, we have to calculate the current, the total current drawn from the battery, and the equivalent resistance of the circuit. So these three are in parallel. So first we know R equal to rho L upon A, right? So let us take L here below R. Now rho upon A or R upon L is constant, let us say, because the length and resistance is same. So we say rho is directly proportional to area. Okay, we assume it to be say K, so let us take A here. So rho is directly proportional to the area because it is a constant. So different materials having same resistances per unit length, greater resistivity material will have more cross-sectional area because of this relationship. So wire A is actually thicker than that of wire B. Now here the figure is, these are in parallel. So what will be the current passing through it? We know that the voltage is 6 volt. So 6, this first will compute this one, I1, say I1 is passing here, I2 here and I3 here. So I1, this is V by R. So V is 6 volt, R is 5. So 6 by 5 is 1.2. This is now 6 by 10 and this is 6 by 30. So I2, I3, 6 by 10, 6 by 30. So these are the currents. So current in 5 ohm, 10 ohm and 30 ohm are 1.2 ampere, 0.6 ampere and 0.2 ampere. What is the total current which is drawn from the battery? We need to add these two because this current I is distributed into I1, I2, I3. So we add them. It is 2 ampere. Now what is the resistances? R1, R2, R3. Now they are in parallel. So we have to find out the equivalent resistance. 1 by R equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. 1 by 5 plus 1 by 10 plus 1 by 30. It gives you 1 by 3 and we take the reciprocal. So it becomes 3 ohm. Define electric power. Express this in terms of potential difference V and resistance R. An electrical fuse is rated, but first we'll see this one, then we'll go to the next one. Okay. So electric power, what is this? It is energy by time, work done by time. So it is the rate of doing work by energy source or the rate at which the electric energy is dissipated or consumed per unit time in the electric circuit, which is called as electric power. So power P is given by the work done by time, which is actually work is equal to electrical energy dissipated by time, which is VI, or you can change I or put I equal to V by R, so it becomes V square by R. The second is an electrical fuse is rated 2 ampere. What is meant by this statement? So this means the maximum current will flow through it will only be 2 ampere, not more than that. So fuse wire will melt if the current exceeds the 2 ampere value through it. An electric iron of 1 kilowatt is operated at 220 volt. Find which of the following fuses that respectively rated as 1 ampere, 3 ampere, 5 ampere can be used in it. So the power is 1 kilowatt and kilo can be changed into 1000 watt. V is given as 220 volt. So what is the current drawn? I equal to P by V, energy by the volt. So 1000 by 220, which gives you 50 by 11, that is 4.54 ampere. So in order to run electric iron of 1 kilowatt, we need a fuse, because this is see 1 ampere and 3 ampere will melt. We need at least this 5 ampere, so that this 4.54 at this point, if it becomes 4.54 is less than 5, so the wire will not melt. Write relation between heat energy produced in conductor when a potential difference V is applied across its terminals and a current I flows through for T. Now the heat produced will be V into I into T. This is the relationship. State difference between wire used in the element of an electric heater and in fuse wire. What is the difference? So that wire used in the element of electric heater has high resistivity and it has high melting point. That is, when the temperature is high or even at high temperature, element do not burn. On the other hand, fuse wire have low melting point and it has high resistivity. The figure below shows 3 cylindrical copper conductors along with their face area. This has area A, area of cross section. This is A by 2, this is 2A. And length, this is L, this is 2L and this is L by 2. Discuss in which geometrical shape the resistance will be the highest. You have to understand that R equal to rho L upon A. Now this will decide. So for the first one, R1 will be equal to rho L upon A is the area, L is the length. For second one R2, rho L is 2L, area is A by 2, so it goes up, it becomes 4R2. Here the third one R3, rho L is L by 2 and area is 2A. Now this becomes 2 comes below and it is R1 by 4. So you can see that which one is having the highest resistance. Let me explain you. This is R1. This is R1 by 4. So it is 1/4 of 4. And this is 4 times this one. That means the highest is the second one. Find the current flowing through the following circuit. Now see here. This 1 ohm and 3 ohm, these are in series. And when these are series combined, they are in parallel with 6. And when these are 3 combined, then this one, the resultant of this one and this one, all will be in series. So this is how we are going to go about. 1 ohm and 3 ohm are in parallel. So this will be simply 3 plus 1. So R1 plus R2, this is the combined resistance. So it will be 4. Now this 6 and this 4 are in parallel. So the resultant will be 1 by Rp will be equal to 1 by 6 plus 1 by 4. So this becomes, we have to reciprocal it. So this becomes 2.48 ohm. Now this 2.4 and say 3.6 and 3 are in series. So we just have to add them. When we add them, we get 9 ohm. And what is the current? Current is potential difference by resistance. This is 4.5, which is given in the question, and this we have found. So 4.5 by 9, this becomes half or 0.5 ampere. An electric bulb of resistance 200 ohm draws a current of 1 ampere. Calculate the power of the bulb, the potential difference at its ends, and the energy in kilowatt hour consumed burning it for 5 hours. So the power of the bulb, we know P is equal to I square R. I is given as 1 ampere. R is given as 200 ohm. So this becomes 200 watt. What is the energy consumed by bulb in 5 hours? We know that energy is equal to power into time. Power is 200, time is given as 5 hours. So 200 into 5, that is 1000 watt hour. 1000 means kilo. So this is 1 kilowatt hour. Calculate the resistance of 1 kilometer long copper wire of radius 1 millimeter. Resistivity of the copper is 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meter. So R is given by rho L upon A. Rho L upon A is area here, copper wire. So we'll take area as pi R square. The area of cross section is pi R square. Now what all are given? We are given this rho. Okay, this is given L, which is 1 kilometer, so make it 1000 meter, 10 to the power 3 here. Then pi and R. Pi is 3.14. R is 1 millimeter. Let us change into 1 by 1000 meter. So this becomes 10 to the power minus 3 meter. So it is squared. So answer would be 5.47 ohm. Draw a schematic diagram of a circuit consisting of a battery of 4 cells. So we have 4 cells, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 cells here of 2 volt each. So 2 into 4, that is 8 volt is the total battery. Each connected to a key. Now this is connected to a key. An ammeter, this is the ammeter, and 2 resistors, that is 2 ohm and 3 ohm. They are in series. So they are in series. And a voltmeter to measure the potential difference across 3 ohm. So this is 3 ohm. This is the potential, or V, you can say voltmeter, around or in parallel with this 3 ohm. This is how the diagram will be made. When a high resistance voltmeter is connected directly across a resistor, its reading is 2 volt. An electric cell is sending the current of 0.4 ampere, which is measured by an ammeter in the electric circuit, in which a rheostat is also connected to vary the current. We have to draw an equivalent labeled circuit of this given data. We have to find the resistance of the resistor, and we have to name and state the law applicable in this given case. A graph is drawn between set of values of potential difference across the resistor and current I flowing through it. Show the nature of the graph which is obtained. So this is what we are going to make. We have a resistor 2 volt. Okay, so this is a resistor and this is 2 volt. Okay, this is a voltmeter. The electric cell is sending current of 0.4. So this is a cell sending a current which is shown by ammeter 0.4 ampere. And we have a rheostat also to vary the current. So we have a rheostat connected to rheostat. We have a key also. So this is the equivalent label circuit of the given data. Now the resistance, because the potential difference is known, current is also known, 2 by 0.4, this gives 5 ohm. Now the third part is Ohm's law. When the physical condition like the temperature etc. remains same, the current flowing, which is I, through the current is directly proportional to the potential difference. That is, V is directly proportional to I. So we can write R here. Okay, to this proportionality sign can be changed by constant, which is resistance. So V by I is constant, which is equal to R. V equal to IR. R is the constant of proportionality, and this is called the resistance of the wire. And since the current varies linearly with the potential difference, so the graph of V and I will be linear. So if V is in the y-axis, I is on the x-axis, the graph line will always be a straight line passing through the origin. How much current will an electric bulb draw from 220 volt source if the resistance of the bulb is 1200 ohm? If in a place of bulb, a heater of resistance 100 ohm is connected to the sources, calculate the current drawn by it. So we have V as 220 volt, R as 1200, I1 we don't know, R2 is known as given as 100 ohm, I2 we don't know. So we will use the Ohm's law, V equal to IR. So I1 would be V by R1, 220 by 1200. For second one, I2 will be 220 by 100. Okay, so first I1 is 0.18, I2 is 2.2 ampere. Draw a schematic diagram of an electric circuit comprising of 3 cells and an electric bulb. Ammeter, plug key is in the on mode, and another with the same components but with 2 bulbs in parallel, and a voltmeter across the combination. This is how we are going to make. This is the first one. So we have 3 cells here, we have 3 cells here. We have a key, we have a key. We have an ammeter, we have an ammeter. But now here we have a bulb. And here we have a voltmeter along with this 1 bulb and 2 bulb. Okay, this is how the diagram will be. Out of the 2 wires X and Y shown below, which one has greater resistance? Just justify your answer. So resistance, you just have to see R equal to rho L upon A. This L and A is given. Here A is A and this is L. This is A and this is 2L. So if you put L and 2L, of course, the answer says that wire Y, because this is twice of length, has a greater resistance as it has more length, 2L as compared to this L, than wire X. This is because the resistance of a wire is directly proportional to the length. It is directly proportional to the length of the wire. 2 identical wires, one of nichrome and other of copper, are connected in series, and a current I is passing through them or pass through them. State the change observed in the temperature of 2 wires. Justify your answer. State the law which explains the above observation. So the resistivity of nichrome is more than the copper, so its resistivity is also high. Okay, resistivity will be higher. The resistivity of nichrome is more than the copper, so its resistance will be higher. Therefore, large amount of heat is produced in the nichrome wire for the same current as compared to the copper wire, and accordingly more change in temperature is observed in the nichrome wire because of this discussion, and this can be explained by Joule's law of heating. So Joule's law of heating, it is stating that amount of heat produced in a conductor is directly proportional to the square of the current. This heat is directly proportional to the square of the current flowing through it. It is directly proportional to the resistance offered by the conductor to the current, and it is directly proportional to the time for which the current is flowing through it. And when we combine I square RT, H is directly proportional to I square RT, we remove this proportionality sign, it becomes K, take a constant K, this is a proportionality constant, and this is the expression. Electric bulb is rated 60 watt 240 volt. Calculate its resistance. If the voltage drops to 192 volt, calculate the power consumed and the current drawn by the bulb. You have to assume that the resistance of a bulb remain unchanged. So P1 is 60 watt, V1 is 240 watt, R is not known. P2 is not known, V2 is given as 192 volt, I1 is not known. Okay. So power P1 will be equal to V square bar R. V is known, R is this, V square bar R is not known, so we have to find R. So P1 is known, so let us take it in the denominator. R becomes V square by P, 240 square by 60, this gives you 960 ohm. For P2, again V square by R, and this is known 192 and 192, and R we found out to be 960 ohms, so just put it here. It gives you 38.4 watt. And what is the current drawn by the bulb which is at 192 volt? I equal to V by R, which is 192 by 960, which is given by 0.2 ampere. So the current drawn by bulb at 192 ampere is 0.2 ampere. Three bulbs each having a power P are connected in series in an electric circuit. In another circuit, another set of three bulbs of same power connected in parallel to the same source. Will the bulb in both the circuits glow with the same brightness? You have to justify your answer. So bulbs in parallel, they provide more illumination. Why? Because each bulb gets same voltage and is equal to the applied voltage. Each bulb draws required current from the mains, therefore they work properly. Now, second part is, now let one bulb in each circuit get fused. Will the rest of the bulb continue to glow in each circuit? Give reason. What happens in series? Series, the bulbs are like this. In parallel, the bulbs are like this. So, when in series, if this fails, this will not work. This is because in the series arrangement, there is only one path. There is only one path for flow of current. But in parallel, if these bulbs get fused, the current can always pass through this or go through this path. So rest of the bulb will continue to glow in parallel connection. Okay. One more thing is there, representing each bulb by a resistor. Draw a circuit diagram for each case. So we'll draw it. But before that, individual branch in the circuit completes its own circuit, or you can say, in this case, parallel connection. We are talking about this. Different paths are available for flow of current. These are different paths. One path this one path this one. Now circuit diagram for series, this R1, R2, R3 are in series. And for parallel, R1, R2, R3 are in parallel. This is I1, I2, I3. For I divides into I1, I2, I3. The voltage is same for both of them. But here the voltage is divided, here the current is divided. Voltage remains the same, V, V, V. Though same current flows through the electric line wires and the filament of a bulb, yet only the filament glows. Why? The temperature of the filament, first let us see this, then we go to the next one. See, the electric line wires, they offer extremely low resistance to the flow of current. So they do not glow because very less negligible heat is produced in it. The filament of a bulb actually glows because it becomes red hot due to large amount of heat being produced, because it is offering high resistance to the flow of current through it. Now the next part is, or next B part is, the temperature of a filament of bulb is 2700 degrees centigrade when it glows. Why does it not get burned up at such high temperature? The answer is, the filament of a bulb when it glows at 2700 degrees centigrade does not get burned because the tungsten metal of a filament, it has very high melting point around 3380 degrees centigrade, and it has very high resistivity. Then the next part is, the filament of electric lamp which draws a current of 0.25 ampere is used for 4 hours. Calculate the amount of charge flowing through the circuit. Now here the question, in this question it is given I is 0.25 ampere, time is 4 hours. So let us change it into second. 1 hour has 60 minutes, 1 minute has 60 seconds. So this becomes the time. We know that the amount of charge Q is given by IT, because I is nothing but rate of change of the charge. So Q is equal to IT, we use this one, T is this one. This is going to be 3600 coulomb. Now D, an electric iron is rated at 2 kilowatt at 220 volt. Calculate the capacity of fuse that should be used for the electric iron. Now here power is 2 kilowatt, let us change K into 1000. So now this becomes 2000 watt. V is 220 volt. The power is given by V into I. Power is known, V is known, I can be computed by 2000 by 220. So this is your 9.09 ampere. So this we have taken all of them. In the given circuit, connect a nichrome wire of length L between X and Y here, and note the ammeter reading. When this experiment is repeated by inserting another nichrome wire of same thickness but twice the length, what changes are observed in the ammeter reading? And state the changes that are observed in the ammeter reading if we double the area of cross section. Now A becomes 2A. Without changing the length in the above experiment, justify your answer in both the cases. Now potential difference between A and B in an electric circuit is 1 volt. We have to explain this statement. So first one is here, ammeter reading in the second case is half of the ammeter reading in the first case. Why? Because R is directly proportional to L upon rho L upon A, actually it is equal to. So R is directly proportional to L, I is inversely proportional to this R if V and A are constant. So if length is doubled, this is 2L, the resistance is doubled, this means current will become half because it is inversely proportional to R. Then the second part, if we double the area, that is the cross section area is 2A without changing the length of the conductor, twice of the previous reading is observed in the ammeter. Why? Because again R is directly proportional to, R is rho L upon A, so it is inversely proportional to length, directly proportional to area. And why I? Because I is inversely proportional to R. So when A gets doubled, the resistance becomes half, and when resistance becomes half, I becomes twice, so current will become double. How is an ammeter connected in a circuit to measure current flowing through it? The ammeter is connected in series in a circuit to measure current which is flowing through it, so it is in series. What happens to resistance of a conductor when its area of cross section is increased? So R is directly proportional to length, inversely proportional to A. So the resistance would decrease if the area of cross section is increased because it is inversely proportional. A given length of wire is doubled, so 2L is done on itself, and this process is repeated once again, that is 2L and then again 2L. By what factor does the resistance of the wire change? Now what happens here is the length becomes 1/4 of the original length and area of cross section becomes 4 times that of original. This is how it is done. That is, the L2 will become 1/4 of L1, then A2 will become 4 of A1. Okay, because there is a wire, given length of wire is doubled on itself, so it is done like this. So from this point it is moved, so the length it is done 1/2. So now this is say L, again from this point it is moved, so this becomes like this. So now this is L by 2, and again it is done. So now this is like this. This becomes L by 4. So the length becomes 1/4 of L1, and the area, because this was A, then it becomes 2A, like this from here it becomes 2A, now it becomes 4A. So the A2 will be equal to 4 into A. So we know that R equal to rho, this already we have seen, R equal to rho L upon A. So what we can do, R1, R2 we can take, and this L1, this is A1, this is L2, this is A2. rho remains constant, so we take the division L2 by R1 is equal to L2 by L1 into A1 by A2. A1 goes up. Now this L2 by L1 is what? 1 by 4, and this A2 by A1 or A1 by A2 is 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 into 1 by 4 is 1 by 16. So R2 becomes, R1 we take here, R2 becomes 1 by 16 of R1. So new resistance is 1/16th of the original resistance. A 9 ohm resistance is cut into 3 equal parts and connected in parallel. Find the equivalent resistance of the combination. So now we have resistance, it is cut into 3 parts. So if it is 9, we divide it into 3. So now the resistance of each part will be R by 3, that is 9 by 3, which is 3 ohm. So R1, R2, R3 will have same resistance. Now they are in parallel like this. They are in parallel. So this is 3, this is 3, this is 3. So 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, R1, R2, R3 are equal. So 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3, this becomes 3 by 3, and this is equal to 1. So the resistance become R in parallel becomes 1 ohm. An electric iron has a rating of 750 watt and 220 volt. Calculate the current flowing through it and its resistance when it is used. So the power is given and the voltage is given, and we know that power and voltage are related by P equal to VI. P is given and V is given. So we can find out I by 750 by 220, that is P by V. This is 3.4. Now power is, we know that it is V square by R. V is now known, V is known to us, R is now known to us. On how to find this, R is not known to us. So R has to be taken here, P will be taken here because P is aware. We are aware of P. So this V square by P, and this P is 750, V is 220 whole square, R equal to 64.53 ohms. What do the following circuit symbol represent? This one and this one. So this is the wire which is crossing without touching each other. So if this is a wire, and this is a wire which is crossing it without touching, so you have to make like this. And this one is the rheostat, or you can say variable resistance, where current can be changed. The potential difference between the terminals of an electric heater is 60 volt, and when it draws a current of 4 ampere from the source. Find the resistance of heater when in use. So here V is given 60 volt, I is also given, R is not known. So we will use directly the Ohm's law, V equal to Ri, and R can be found out by 60 by 4, which is 15 ohm. The charge possessed by an electron is this much, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. Find the number of electrons that will flow per second to constitute a current of 1 ampere. Now here Q is given, charge is given, I is 1 ampere, N is not known, time is 1 second. So we know that Q equal to IT and Q equal to NE. These both are equation for Q. So we can equate it, IT equal to NE. We have to find N. So IT by E, I is known, T is known, E is known. So just divide them, you get 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 electrons. Explain the role of fuse in series with any electrical appliance in an electric circuit. Why should a fuse with defined rating of an electric circuit not be replaced by one with larger rating? So here fuse wire is actually a safety device which is connected in series with the live wire of circuit. It has very high resistivity and low melting point. So it melts when a sudden urge or surge of large current passes through it, and it disconnects the entire circuit from the electrical supply. But in case if we use a larger rating instead of a refined rating, then what will happen? It will not be able to protect the circuit, as the high current will easily pass through it without even this wire getting, or fuse wire melting, and it will not melt. The wattage of a bulb is 24 watt, and it is connected to a 12 volt battery. Calculate its effective wattage if it operates on a 6 volt battery. You have to neglect the change in resistance due to unequal heating of the filament in the two cases. So what is happening here is, in the first case, power is given 24 watt. Voltage is also given, so this is P1, this is V1. Now P2 we are not aware, but V2 we are aware. And we know the power is given by V square by R. So we'll take P1 by P2, that is the R is same. So that is resistance remains constant. This will be V1 square by V2 square. We just have to divide P1 relation with P2. So now this P2 can be found out by taking P1, this V2 here and V1 down. So V2 and V1 in the numerator, V1 in the denominator, whole square. This is 6, this is 12 and this is 24. Multiply them, you will get 6 watt. Consider the following circuit diagram. R1, R2, R3, R4, R5 are 3 ohm. We have to find the equivalent resistance. So what is happening here is these two are in series. Now the resistant will be in parallel with this one. And finally these 3 will be in series. This is how we have to find out. So all are 3. So this 3 and 3 are in series. So they will be added. 3 plus 3 is 4. Now this 3 plus 3 is 6, sorry. Now 6 is in, this is 3. So 6 is now in parallel with this 3. So 1 by 6 plus 1 by 3. This is how we find out the resistance in the parallel condition. This becomes 2. Now this is whole is 2 now. This is 3 and this is 3. Now they are in series. So 3 plus 3, 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So 8 ohm will be the final resistance. A torch bulb is rated 2.5 volt and 750 milliampere. We have to calculate the power, resistance and the energy consumed if this bulb is lighted for 4 hours. Time is also given. So V is given, I is given and milliampere we convert it into 10 to the power minus 3, so ampere. Now we first know that power equal to VI. V is known, I is known. So we multiply them, you get the power. We use the Ohm's law, V equal to IR. R can be found out by V by I. V is known, I is known. We divide them, we get R. Now energy consumed in 4 hours, we know that energy is P power into time. Power is this one, we just found out, and time is given as 4 hours. So you can multiply by 4 and just multiply them, you get 7.5 watt hour. You can convert it into kilowatt hour by multiplying it with 10 to the power minus 3. Series arrangement are not used for domestic circuit. List any 3 reasons. This thing is that if you have a series resistance or series arrangement, say resistance or any device, say what will happen if this device fails? Others will be also not working because there is a series connection. Current can only pass through. There is only one way. So series arrangement are not used for domestic circuit. First of all, the electric appliances need variety of widely different values to operate properly. They need different values. In series arrangement, when one component fails, as I suggested here, the circuit is broken and none of the component will work. And all electrical appliances work at a constant voltage. But in series circuit, the current is constant. Here the current is constant, voltage is different. This is V1, this is V2, V3 throughout the electric circuit, and the potential is different across the different components. So series arrangement is not suitable for the domestic circuits. Name the physical quantity which is same, different in all the bulbs. When 3 bulbs have same wattage, they are connected in series. So in this case, for identical bulbs in series, same current and it will have same potential difference. With same wattage which are connected in parallel. So for identical bulbs in parallel, we will have same potential difference and different current. When different wattages are connected in series, so for unidentical bulbs, non-similar bulbs in series, we will have same current and different potential difference. And for different wattage which are connected in parallel, so for unidentical bulbs in parallel, we will have different current and same potential difference. Two devices of rating 44 volt, 220 volt and 11 volt and 220 volt. This is first device and this is second device. So the power and voltage is given, they are connected in series. Now the combination is connected across a 440 volt mains. The fuse of which of the two devices is likely to burn when the switch is on? You have to justify your answer. So we'll see about the joules heating. The joules heating, whichever is higher, it is going to be burning. So we'll see, because this V and power is given and the voltage is given. So we'll use P equal to V square by R. And R can be found out by V square by P1. So this 220 into 220 by 44 is first one, and 220 into 220 by 11 is the second one. So R1, R2 is found. Now they are connected in series. So we'll add them. This R1 plus R2. So 1100 plus 14400, it gives you 5500. Now what will be the current? I will be equal to potential difference by resistance, which is the resultant one in series. So the potential difference is known, okay, which is actually your 440 ohms, which is connected across the 440 mains. So this 440 we use, and now the equivalent resistance. So I will be 0.08 ampere. Now according to the Joule's law of heating, H1 is, this H is given by I square RT. Okay, so let it be this this time, let us take it as 1. So I square RT, I square for first one, I square, second one also will use this I, but resistance are different. So first one I square into 1100 T, T is 1, I square R2, that is R will be 4400, and you see the H1, H2, H2 is greater than H1. So which is, H2 is greater than H1, so you'll know which is going to burn, the fuse of each of the two devices is going to burn. Okay, this one. 5 resistors are connected in series like this. Find the ammeter reading when the circuit is closed. So see, these two are in series. The resultant will be in parallel, and then this one and this one will be in series. So what we will do here is, this 3 plus 3 are series, so 3 plus 3 is 6. Now this 6 is now in parallel with 3. So 1 by 6 plus 1 by 3, this gives you 2. Now this becomes 2. So this is 2, this is 0.5, this is 0.5. So we add them, 2, 0.5, 0.5, because they are in series, we get 3. This is the resultant resistance. Now we have to find the current. Current is given by V by R. V is what? It is given here, which is 3. So we divide 3 by this 3 ohm, we get 1 ampere. Study the circuit shown in which 3 identical bulbs, B1, B2, B3, they are connected in parallel with a battery of 4.5 volt. What will happen to the glow of other 2 bulbs if the bulb B3 get fused? If this B3 get fused, what will happen? If the wattage of each bulb is 1.5 volt, how much reading will the ammeter? This ammeter A is going to show when all the 3 bulbs glow simultaneously. We have to find the total resistance of the circuit. So this is the circuit. What will happen? First of all, what will happen to the glow of other bulbs if the bulb B3 get fused? Because, you know, if it even gets fused, the glow of other 2 bulbs remain the same because they are in parallel. Second is, if the wattage of each bulb is 1.5 watt. So 1.5 watt, 1.5 watt, 1.5 watt, how much reading will the ammeter A show when all the 3 bulbs glow simultaneously? So the potential difference across each, because they all are in parallel, it will be 4.5 volt. Okay, wattage is given by 1.5. We know that P equal to VI. I1 can be found out by P by V. P is 1.5 and V is 4.5. So 1 by 3 ampere. Similarly, for all these 3, because the readings are same or the values are same, I1, I2, I3, they all will be 1 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 3. Now the current, because they are in parallel, we have to add these current. I1 plus I2 plus I3, 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3, 1 by 3, it gives you 3 by 3, 1 ampere. Now, the potential diff across each bulb is given as 4.5 volt. The resistance of each bulb will be what? R equal to V square by P. Now, we'll use the V, which is 4.5 and P is 1.5. This is R is 13.5. So the equivalent resistance of parallel combination will be what? This will be 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, and this is simply, because we know that this total is 13.5. So we'll just compute 1 by R, 1 by R, 1 by R, this is 3 by R, so R will be R by 3. R by 3, this is 13.5, we'll use it here. 13.5 by 3, this is 4.5. So the wattage of each bulb will be 1.5 volt, and the resistance of this total is 4.5. So when all the 3 bulbs glow simultaneously, the ammeter A will show this reading, okay, this 1 ampere reading. Now find the resistance of the circuit. We have already seen the circuit, okay, and potential difference we can find out like this, of each bulb, as we saw 4.5 volt, wattage is 1.5, and we know how to find out the resistance, right? Study the IV graph of 4 conductors A, B, C, D having resistance RA to RD respectively, and answer the following. This is A, B, C, D, this is V, this is I. Which one of these is the best conductor? See, the answer is, the slope is given by, because this is I, this is V. So slope will be not V by I, but I by V, right? And in this case, which of these I by V is least? This is for RA. This slope is the least. This is the highest one. So the slope, this is I by V. So it is least for the RA. That is why the RA is greater than this, R resistance of A is greater than RA is greater than RB, then RC, then RD. Okay. See, V equal to Ri. So when we talk about R, it is V by I. But here we are talking about I by V. Okay. So I by V is now 1 by R. That is how. If the slope is minimum, the resistance would be higher because of the formation here, that is voltage is now in the x-axis and I is on the y-axis. So first is, which one of these is the best conductor? Of course, this D is going to be the best conductor because it has the, see, resistance is the least. So least resistance is D, therefore it is the best conductor. Of all of the conductor are of same length and same material, what is the thickness? Who is the thickest? Now resistance of C, if you see, resistance R is equal to rho L upon A. Of all the conductors are of same length and same material, which is the thickest? Which one is the thickest? Which one is the highest? You see, this R is directly proportional to the length, and we know the resistance of A is the highest. So length of A should be the highest, right? Now the next one is if all the conductors are of same thickness and same material, which is the longest? We have already seen this, but we'll talk to them, or we'll try to answer them using this. These two questions we are going to take, okay? Thickest and longest. See how they are going to be answered. See, R equal to rho L upon A. R is greatest for A, so length will be the highest for R. Now R is inversely proportional to area. So whichever has highest R, that means area of cross section will be less. So whichever has a R less, area will be highest. So we have resistance wire A. This is the answer for this one, and then we have this one, thickest and longest. We have already answered. Area of cross section is inversely proportional to resistance, so D is the thickest and A is the longest. Now let us come to this one. If the dimension of all the conductors are identical but their materials are different, which one would you use as a resistance wire and conducting wire? Now the answer is the resistance wire will be A, because it is the highest resistance, providing highest resistance, and connecting wire will take it as D because it is offering the lowest resistance. Now which one of the following relation is true for these conductors? We have already seen this. So the option A is correct, right? Now if conductor A and B are connected in series and this graph is plotted for the combination, its slope would be, in series the resistance, we know that in series the resistance are added, okay? That is, R will be equal to R1 plus R2. So in this given IV graph, slope of series combination would be less than that of A. That is, when we say that R is, this resultant will be greater than this one. So what would be the source? Because it has been said A and B are connected in series, and the resistance RA and RB will be added. RA and RB will be added. So now the resistance increases, it will be lower than this, because this shows the highest resistance, but the resistance has increased. So this will be the graph. So slope of series combination will be less than that of A. Now if the conductor C and D are connected in parallel, that is, this IV graph, this is IV. IV graph is plotted for the combination, its slope would be. Now C and D are parallel. We know that when C, if this is C and this is D, C and D, when we combine them, we know that it will be 1 by C plus 1 by D. So it will be lower than the either value of C or D. So in parallel combination, the equivalent resistance is less than least value, either of these, least value resistance of the circuit. So in this IV graph, slope of parallel combination is more than that of D. Okay, it will be more than that of D. Here. So in an experiment to study the relationship between potential difference across a resistor and the current through it, a student recorded the following observation. So this is V and this is I. On examination of these observations, the teacher asked the student to reject one set of reading as the values were out of agreement with the rest. Which one of the above sets of reading can be rejected? Calculate the mean value of resistance of the resistor based on the remaining 4 sets of reading. See, V is equal to IR, this is Ohm's law. So V by I has to be always some constant which is R. So what we will do here is we'll divide these two everywhere, and that reading, when we divide V by I and it is not coming equivalent to the others, that we are going to reject. So the third reading, which is 3 by 0.6, that is, this is V, this is I, this can be rejected at it has larger deviation from the rest of the reading. If you see others, that is 1 by 0.1, 2.2 by 0.2, and if you see 3 by 0.6, the deviation is quite high. So the value of resistance in the other 4 observation will be what? I, V by I. So 1 by 0.1 is 10, and 2.2 by 0.2 is 11, and then 4.0, if you see, by 4 is again 10, and 6.4 by 0.6 is 10.67. So what will be the mean resistance? We add 10, 11, 10 and 10.67 and divide by 4. So we add them, this plus this plus this plus this, and divide it by 4. So you get 10.42. Okay. If you see this 3 by 0.6, that is 3 by 6, and this 6, 5, 6 are 30. So now the deviation is quite high. But others are 10, 11 or 10, 10.67. So it is 10 or 11 in between. So we are going to reject this one. Explain with the help of labeled circuit diagram how will you find the resistance of a combination of 3 resistors of resistances R1, R2 and R3 which are joined in parallel. So we have resistances which are joined in parallel like this. Okay. This is R1, this is R2, this is R3. Also mention how will you connect the ammeter and the voltmeter in the circuit while measuring the current in the circuit and the potential difference across one of the 3 resistors from the combination. So here R1, R2, R3, as I just showed here, they are in parallel. So all will have same potential difference because they are in parallel. So we'll connect the voltmeter in parallel with these 3 resistances. And of course, in series with them, that is with the battery and the key, we'll put the ammeter here. So we'll connect the 3 given resistors like this in parallel between the point X and Y with a battery, and this a plug key here and ammeter in the series with them. This is how we are going to draw it. And then we will connect the voltmeter in parallel with these 3 resistors between the terminal X and Y. Then we'll close the key and note the value in ammeter and the voltage reading, that is the voltmeter reading. Ammeter shows the total current drawn by the parallel combination of these resistors, while this voltmeter will show what is the voltage being applied across the combination. We'll use the Ohm's law, we'll find the equivalent resistance. R is simply V by I. This is the voltmeter reading, this is the ammeter reading. And because these 3 are in parallel, and if I current is going here, I1 will be here, I2 will be here, I3 will be here. So the current I will be I1 plus I2 plus I3. I is V by R. So V by resultant R will be V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. V gets cancelled, it is common. So 1 by Rp will be equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Now the second part of the question has said, so the answer would be to find the current flow through any one of the resistor ammeter will be connected in series with that of the resistor, and measure the potential difference. We will connect it in parallel with the resistor. So this is how the things goes about. Derive the expression for the heat produced due to current T flowing for a time interval this much through a resistor R having a potential difference V across its end. With which name is the relation known? How much heat will an instrument 12 watt produce in 1 minute if it is connected to a battery of 12 volt? So heat produced in a conductor, we can consider a wire which is AB, say having a resistance R connected across the terminal of a cell, and this V is the potential difference which is applied across, or you can say applied by the cell across the end of the wire. So this is what we are talking about. So let us say that W is the work done in carrying the charge Q across the conductor. We know that V equal to W by Q, or we can say W is equal to V into Q. We know that Q equal to IT, so we'll put Q into IT, Q equal to IT here. So we get W equal to V into IT. So this work will appear in the form of heat produced in the wire. So H is what? VIT. This is VIT. But we know that V is nothing but IR by Ohm's law. So we can put V equal to IR here, right? V equal to IR here. So we get IR into IT, that is I square RT. So this is the expression for the heat produced in the wire. This is called the Joule's law of heating. So the heat produced in 1 minute according to this question is power into time. Power is 12 volt given in the question, which is this one, and time is for 1 minute, that is 60 seconds. So 12 watt into 60 seconds, that will be 720 joules. Deduce the expression for the equivalent resistance of parallel combination of three resistors R1, R2, R3. Consider this electrical circuit. We have R1, R2, then we have R3, R5, R4 here. Which two resistors are connected in series? Which two resistors are connected in parallel? If every resistor of the circuit is 2 ohm, what current will flow in the circuit? So here you see these two are in parallel. When they are combined, when this R2 and R3 are combined, they are in series with this one, and they are series with this one, and they all are in series. So see, when we take the combination of these two, it has to be 1. So let me show you like this. We consider the following circuit like this. Let we have I1, which is this one, I1, and I2 and I3 are the current which is passing. So first what we have to do here is, before going to this question or this part, we have to deduce the expression for the equivalent resistance of parallel combination. So first we'll try to solve this. So here what we'll do here is, these three are in parallel, okay? These three are in parallel, R1, R2, R3. So we'll try to find out the equivalent resistance formula. For this, what we'll do here is, I is the current which is passing here. Now I will divide into I1, I2 and I3. So I will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. But we know that V equal to IR. So I equal to V by R. And the potential difference between these A and B point will remain same. So V all will be similar for R1, R2, R3. But I will be different. So we say that I equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. I will be equal to V by R. This is the R in parallel. I1 will be equal to V by R1 because V is same for all these. So V by R2, V by R3. We can take V common from these three. So V comes common, V get cancels, 1 by Rp equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, and this is the equivalent resistance when the resistors are in parallel. Now let us come down to this one. This easily can be seen. Look, I'll try to solve it here. Okay. So now, which two resistors are connected in series and which two are in parallel? See, this R1, this R1, R2, R3. So R3 and R2 are in parallel. R2 and R3 are in parallel. So when they are in parallel, if every resistor is 2 ohm, we have to find out the current. So let us do it like this. This is 2, this is 2. So the 1 by R will be equal to 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. And this is nothing but 1. So 1 by 1, that is. So R will be equal to 1. So this combination is giving you 1. Right? Now this combination, this one, is actually combination with R1. So now R1 has to be combined with this. So 1 and this one is going to be 3. Now this 3 is combined with, now this total is coming to be 3. This is 2, this is 2. Now all these 3 are in series. So 3 plus 2 plus 2, that is 3 plus 2 plus 2, that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? This is 3, this is 2, this is 2, so it comes to be 7. Now what is the current? I, we know that V equal to IR, so I will be equal to V by R. V is 5 volt and R is 7. So this is the final value. This is going to be the result. Two resistors 10 ohm and 15 ohm are connected in series to a battery of 6 volt. How can the value of current passing through them be compared? So in series, some current flows through each resistor, the ratio will be 1:1. See, again let me tell you, there are two resistors which are connected in series. So in series always the current passes through whether any resistor should be there or can be there, but the current will pass in the same way. So it is 1:1. Here also the same current, here also the same current. A wire of resistance 20 ohm is bent to form a closed square. What is the resistance across a diagonal of the square? So this is the square form of 20 ohm. So this is 5 ohm, 5 ohm, 5 ohm, 5 ohm. It becomes 20 because they are in series now. So what is the resistance across the diagonal of the square? So we have to find the resistance across the diagonal, right? So resistance of each square, as we said, 20 ohm, we divided into 4, so 20 by 4 is 5 ohm. And now here, these two are in parallel. These two, because there is a line, and these two are in series. Sorry, this and this are series. So we get one resistance combined here, and these two are in series. So we get one resistance combined here, and now these two will be in parallel. So this 5 plus 5 is 10, and this 5 plus 5 is 10, and now this 10 and this 10 are parallel. So 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10 will be the final one. 1 by R equivalent will be equal to 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10, which gives you R equal to 5 ohm. Draw a schematic diagram of electrical circuit consisting of a battery of 5 2-volt cell, a 20 ohm resistor, a 30 ohm resistor, a plug key, all connected in series. Calculate the value of current flowing through the 20 ohm resistor and the power consumed by the 30 ohm resistor. So the required will be 20 plus 30. How it is? 20 ohm and 30 ohm, these are in series. We have 5 cells which 2 volt potential difference each. So now the equivalent is, because they are in series, 20 plus 30 is 50 ohm. Now current through both 20 ohm and 30 ohm will be similar. Why? Because they are in series. So what will be current? I equal to V by R. V is 5 volt and 5 cell 2 volt. So 5 into 2 is 10. So V will be 10. Resistance is combined of these two, that is 50. This is going to be 0.2 ampere. What will be the power? Power will be I square into R. I is 0.2, so 0.2 square into R. R resistance is at this point on this 30 ohm. It will be, because the question is about 30 ohm. So I square into R, R is 30, so 1.2 watt. A piece of wire of resistance 20 ohm is drawn out so that its length is increasing to twice its original length. Calculate the resistance of the wire in the new situation. So we know that R equal to rho L upon A, right? So R1 by R1 equal to L1 A1. R2 will be equal to rho L2 by A2. Let me divide these two. So R1 by R2 will be equal to, this gets cancelled, L1 by L2, and A2 goes up, so it will be A2 by A1. So here we see that the question is given that the length is increased to twice its original length. So the L2 is actually equal to twice of L1. So we will put L2 equal to twice L1 here. L1 gets cancelled, so we get this 1 by 2 A1 by A2. R1 by A2 equal to 1 by 2 A2 by A1. Sorry. Now the volume, it is given, the volume is conserved. The question says that volume is conserved. So volume of material is conserved. So we say A1 volume is what? Area into length. So A1 L1 will be equal to A2 L2. So A1 by A2 equal to L2 by L1. But we know that this is what? We have just found that L2 equal to 2 L1. So L2 by L1 is equal to 2. So we put 2 here. Now we got A2 by A1 also, or A1 by A2 also. A1 by A2 is 2. So R1 by R2 is nothing but L1 by L2 in dot L2 by L1. So we get L1 square by L2 square. See, if I put this A2 by A1 as L2 by L1, and this was already, we know the value was there. So this was A2 by A1. We have to put you can say the reciprocal. So L1 by L2, and this was already L1 by L2. So this is L1 square by L2 square. So L1 square by L2 square, and L1 by L2 is what? Is 1 by 2. So when you do square, it gives 1 by 4. So it is 1 by 4. So R1 is equal to, or you can say R2 is equal to 4R1. Now this is given in the question, which is equal to 20. So 20 into 4 is 80 ohm. This is how we compute it. What is an electric current? Distinguish between an open and closed circuit. So an arrangement for maintaining the continuous flow of electric current by the electrical energy source through various electric components connected with each other by conducting wires is actually the electric circuit. This is the total electric circuit. An open circuit does not carry any current because the circuit is open, while a closed circuit will carry a current because it is closed, the wire is connected. Two resistors with resistance 5 ohm and 10 ohm are connected to a battery of EMF 6 volts so as to obtain maximum current, minimum current. How will you connect the resistance in each case? Calculate the strength of total current in the circuit in two cases. So here, as you know, current is inversely proportional to the resistance for the same voltage. So in order to get maximum current, we need minimum resistance, right? In order to get minimum current, we need maximum resistance. That means in order to get maximum current, we need R to be as less as possible. Then that is only possible when we correct the resistors in the parallel, because we know the parallel value, when the resistance are connected, it will be lesser than the least value. In order to get minimum current, the reverse will be there, the equivalent resistance has to be greater, so we need to connect the resistors in the series. Now the second part is this one, 5 and 10. So 1 by R, because these are in parallel, 1 by 5 plus 1 by 10, this gives you 10 by 3. I max will be what? V by Rp, that is V by this Rp in parallel, and in series we just have to add them, 5 plus 10 is 15. So let us find out for the parallel. I max will be when they are connected in parallel, V by Rp. V is as 6 volt and this is equivalent resistance 10 by 3, divided them, you get 1.8 ampere. For series, as I said, we just have to add 10 plus 5, 15 ohm. I is given by V by Rs, that is in series, and I is V by Rs, V is 6 volt and Rs is 15, 2 by 5 is 0.4 ampere. Define the term volt. So when 1 joule of work is done in carrying 1 coulomb of charge from infinity to a point in an electric field, then potential at that point is equal to 1 volt. Now state the relationship between work, charge, potential difference of an electric circuit. Calculate the potential difference between two terminals of a battery if 100 joule of work is required to transfer 20 coulomb of charge from one terminal of a battery to another. So potential difference V, which is actually the work done on unit charge, work done on a unit charge. So V is nothing but W by Q. So work is in this case is 100 joule and Q is given as 20 coulomb. So we'll use this formula, V equal to W by Q, 100 by 20, which is 5 volt. The potential will be 5 volt. Define the term coulomb. So coulomb, see, I is equal to Q by T. The electric current is rate of the charge. So what is time here? The time in this question, let us see this question in entirety. First, we'll talk about the coulomb. So when 1 ampere current flows across the wire in 1 second, the charge transferred across its end is called as 1 coulomb. And the relationship between the electric current I and charge Q and T is I equal to Q by T. So now we have 20 minutes, so 20 into 60, 60 is for 1 minute has 60 seconds, it gives 1200 seconds. The current I is given by 200 milliampere, milli is 10 to the power minus 3 ampere, so 200 into 10 to the power minus 3 ampere. And from this expression, Q will be equal to IT, multiply this with this. So you get multiplication, you get 240 coulomb. How is the direction of electric current related to the direction of flow of electrons in wire? And we have to calculate the current in a circuit if 500 coulomb of charge passes through it in 10 minutes. So the idea is the conventional direction of electric current is opposite to the direction of flow of current, electrons in the wire. See, electrons, if they are moving like this, so the current will move like this. This is the conventional way of understanding the current. Then the second part is Q is given as 500 coulomb, time is 10 into 60 because it is given in the question 10 minutes. So we convert minute into second. 10 into 60 is 600 seconds. So I is given by Q by T. Again expression we will use this. So 500 by 600, this is 5 by 6 ampere. Two resistors R1 and R2 may form series combination, parallel combination, and the combination may be connected to a volt. This is 6-volt battery. In which combination will the potential difference across R1 and R2, this one R1 and R2, be the same, and in which combination will the current through R1 and R2 be same? This has to be found out, and there is another question which we'll see just now. Let us answer the first one. Potential difference between R1 and R2 is same if you combine them. Say this 5 ohm and 10 ohm are in parallel. So potential difference across 5 and 10 will be same. So R1 and R2, they are in parallel, the potential difference will be same. And R1 R2 and the current through R1 R2 will be same when they are connected in series. So this 7 ohm and this combination, they will have the same current. So that means one resistance, second resistance, if they are in series, I will pass through this one, I will pass through this one also. Now the second part is, this is 7 ohm, 5 ohm, 10 ohm are in parallel, these are in series with 7 ohm. The resultant resistance have to be found out, the total current has to be found out, and the voltage across 7 ohm resistor has to be found out. So these 5 and 10 are in parallel. So 5 and 10, so resultant will be 1 by R equal to 1 by 5 plus 1 by 10, this is going to be 3.33. Now 7 ohm is in series with this resultant, so we add 3.33 with 7 because they are in series. So we get resistance as 10.33. Now what will be the current? I is given by V by R equivalent, which is 10.33. V is 6. This is 6 volt. So I is 0.58. Now what is the voltage across this 7 resistor, 7 ohm resistor, which is given by I into the R, V equal to IR. Resistance is 7 ohm here. So 0.58, which is the current we are going to use, into 7 is 4.06 volt. So these are the questions and answer which are very important questions. Also we have talked about taken the board question answer. So all the best, take care of yourself.